ma'am. Please. Parson Collins, Mr. Wickham.
Always a pleasure to meet a man of the cloth. I had a near miss myself.
As Mr. Collins once again held forth,
I more than once observed Lady Catherine, that her daughter seemed born to be a duchess, and the little elevated her seemed to be born one. My young man of character can have an evil tendency, and I am so far from objecting to dancing myself, that I take this opportunity to solicit first to dance with you especially.
And it struck me that I had been selected from among my sisters as worthy of becoming the mistress of Hunsford Parsonage.
and I perceived that Elizabeth still longed to see Wickham among those assembled, seeking the conquest of all that remained unsubdued in his heart.
I might title them dances of mortification.
You are living in Hunsford Parsonage. Thus, allow me to observe that I consider the clerical office an equal in point of dignity with the highest rank in the kingdom, provided that the proper humility is at the same time maintained.
You have neglected your name, sir.
Have I?
You have.
Mr. Collins, sir.
Delighted.
Excellent, most excellent. I have no reason, I assure you, to be in any way dissatisfied with my reception. He greeted me with the utmost civility, and upon the whole I am much pleased with him.
Though he neglected his name.
Did he?
So, Miss Eliza.
May I have your interest in the matter of your penultimate eldest, Elizabeth? For I seek a private audience with her within the course of this morning.
A private audience? Oh my! A private audience. Well, I'm sure Wickham will be very happy. Or at least have no complaints. A private audience. You madam, do not go. Not go? Mr. Collins must excuse me. He can have nothing to say to me that anybody need not hear. I'm going away myself.
Oh, nonsense, Lizzie. I desire you to stay and listen to what Mr. Collins has to say.
Lizzie, you must stay where you are and listen to the man. Stay.
Your modesty adds only to your other perfections, for my attentions have been too marked to be mistaken. But before I run away with my feelings, I shall elucidate my reasons for marrying. First, to set an example of matrimony in my parish.
Of course.
Second, it greatly adds to a man's well-being. And thirdly, by the particular advice and recommendation of Lady Catherine de Bourgh, my patroness. Let her be an active, useful sort of person. It will make a small income go a long way. Her very words. You may observe, fair cousin, that I do not consider the nurse of Lady Catherine the least of my advantages. Your wit and vivacity, I think, must be acceptable to her, especially when tempered with the silence and respect her rank invariably excites. Fourth, as I am to inherit this estate upon the death of your honored father, I feel bound to choose a wife from among his daughters, so the loss of them may be as little as possible. Thus, nothing remains for me but to assure you in the most animated language of the violence of my affection. To fortune I am perfectly indifferent, and as to dowry, I am well aware of your father's finances. And I can assure you that no ungenerous reproach shall pass my lips when we are married.
No.
No?
I am very sensible to the honor of your proposals, but it's impossible for me to do otherwise than decline them.
It is usual of young ladies to reject at first the advances of the man they secretly mean to accept.
I do assure you that I am not one of those young ladies. You could not make me happy, and I am convinced that I am the last woman in the world who would make you so. Were your friend Lady Catherine to know me, she would find me in every respect ill-qualified. This matter may be considered, therefore, as finally settled.
You cannot be serious in your rejection of me. Good sense and financial necessity forbid it. You wish only to increase my love by suspense, according to the practice of elegant females.
I am not, Mr. Collins, an elegant female intending to plague you. I'm a rational creature speaking the truth from her heart. I will not have you. Can I speak plainer?
You are uniformly charming.
Mr. Collins, allow me to be the first to congratulate you.
She's begun delightfully with a refusal.
A refusal?
Out of bashful modesty and a genuine delicacy of her character.
Mr. Bennet, you are wanted immediately. She is a headstrong, foolish girl and does not know her own interests.
Headstrong? Foolish?
But I will make her know it.
Headstrong? Foolish? Dear me. So liable to such defects of character, she could not contribute much to my felicity.
Mr. Bennet, you must come and make Lizzie marry Mr. Collins, for she vows she will not have him.
Pray, excuse me.
And Lizzie begins to say that she will not have him either. Lizzie!
Come here, child. All her pretensions to your daughter's favor. I have come to feel that her high spirits turn up on their perfect expression in a somewhat circumscribed life of the hostage. I am resigned, but I hope to leave. Resignation is never so perfect, to the blessed kind that gets its value in her estimation.
Miss Lizzie, I tell you that I shall never speak to you again, and you will find me as good as my word. I take no pleasure in talking to undutiful children.
Catherine, generous consideration, inviting us to dine at Rosings and a night for one. Do not be concerned, fair cousin, about your apparel, for Lady Catherine will not take the worst of you for being simply dressed.
The dinner was exceedingly handsome, and there were every sort.
Honorable Lady Catherine de Bourgh, whose condescension...
Yes, quite so. You are, I believe, Miss Elizabeth Bennet.
I am.
Your estate is entailed on Mr. Collins, I think. For your sake, I'm glad of it. But otherwise, I see no occasion for entailing estates from the female line. A word, Mr. Collins.
Miss Bennet, I'd hope not to meet you here.
Nor I.
Allow me to present Mrs. Fitzwilliam.
Your beauty oft reported it deceives Miss Collins.
This has not been true, Mrs. Fitzwilliam, in all quarters.
Miss Bennet, your family.
My family.
How many sisters have you, Miss Bennet?
I have 4 sisters.
That is a great many. Are you the eldest?
I'm the second.
Are they handsome?
Indeed.
Do they play and sing? Do you draw?
No, not at all.
None of you? That is very strange. Has your governess left you?
Well, we've never had a governess.
No governess? How was that possible? 5 daughters brought up at home without a governess. I never heard of such a thing. Your mother must have been quite a slave to your education.
Not perhaps as you might think.
Then who taught you? Who attended you?
Such of us as wished to learn never wanted the means. We were always encouraged to read, and books were always provided. Those who chose to be idle certainly might.
No doubt. But that is what a governess would prevent. Had I known your mother, I would have advised you most strenuously to engage one. Are any of you and your sisters out?
Yes, ma'am, all.
All? All 5 out at once? How very odd. The younger one's out before the eldest are married.
But really, ma'am, I think it would be very hard upon younger sisters that they should not have their share of society and amusements, because the elder may not have the means or inclination to marry early.
Upon my word, you give your opinion very decidedly for one so young. Pray, what is your age?
With 3 younger sisters grown up, your ladyship could hardly expect them to own it.
What is that you were saying, Mrs. Fitzwilliam?
We were speaking of music, madam.
Of music. Then pray, speak aloud.
I was just reminding Miss Bennet of her earlier promise to favor us at the piano quartet.
Oh, yes, pray excuse me. I fear you will not find me a great musician. Pray continue your conversation rather than attend me.
I often tell young ladies that no excellence in music is to be achieved without constant practice.
You mean to frighten me, Mr. Darcy, but my courage always rises with every attempt to intimidate me.
You could not believe me to entertain any design of alarming you, for I have had the pleasure of your acquaintance long enough to know that you like to possess opinions which in fact are not your own.
Your cousin will give you a very pretty notion of me and teach you not to believe a word I say. Take care, sir, for you are provoking me to retaliate, and such things may come out as will shock your relations with you.